Good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Manish Prabhu, and I am from the Digital Security and Risk Engineering team at Microsoft. In this talk, I'm going to cover a often neglected aspect of DevOps, which is we have been doing DevSecOps for the last few years around the world in different environments, which has generally meant security integrating into the DevOps pipeline, right? So using your SAST and DAST and all kinds of secure code checkers and dynamic inspection engines, etc., in the CI/CD pipeline. Right? What has been not been attended to as much is the security of the infrastructure that is supporting development in any environment. Right? So that's why the talk I was titled "The Other Half of DevSecOps." Right? So, quick outline for today. I'll be talking about, what are some interesting challenges and risks that we are living with because of this. Uh, what? Just a second here. Okay. Uh, sorry about that. Yeah. Then I'll try to give some examples to disambiguate the notion of source code security and dev pipeline or dev environment security. We'll also demonstrate a tool that we have created in our team. It's an open source tool that we are using at Microsoft inside CSEO, and then some other teams like Office are also looking to adopt it for checking security of the development environment. It is an ADO security scanner. And then I'll have some takeaways for everyone, right? And although my talk is going to use Azure DevOps, which is used to be called Visual Studio Team Services, the online version of Team Server, that is going to be the basis of the conversation. But as you might imagine, a lot of these principles would apply to any dev environment out there. So regardless of the tooling that is being used, regardless of the platform being developed for, many of these security risks that I talk about and security best practices for dev environments would apply to all of those contexts as well, right? So with that, let's get started. Why should we care about security of dev environments, right? So here are some interesting newspaper clippings. Thankfully, none of these have actually been published yet. But these are the sort of things that are possible if we are not vigilant about security of dev environments, right? So uh, if you look at these, right, they are kind of all over the place, right? So here's an example where a developer was able to spoof and check in source code under Satya Nadella's name, right? And how is that possible? Because somewhere in the tooling, the tool set did not use the authenticated session token to determine who is making the commit, right? Uh, Here's another one. In this case, and this is a problem that all of us face almost regularly on our phones, right? So, how many times when installing an application that someone recommended, you think that, is it trustworthy? Might it steal other data from my phone? Right? What's the guarantee of the quality of this application, right? So the same sort of challenge applies when inside a dev environment you are enabling extensions from a marketplace, right? ADO has a marketplace. The other online tooling systems have similar notion of plugins that can be added or downloaded. So if that is not done carefully and good governance is not put in place, these sort of things are possible, right? So extensions can get deployed to the marketplace, and then the administrator of your environment might uh, o- in an oversight import one of those extensions into your environment, right? And once they are in, they are being used by everyone. The third thing here, we all have serious IP in some parts of our code base, right? So those repositories are considered tented. Now, if the agents that are doing the build in our environment are not well guarded, they are not correctly patched, then that tented source code can be stolen due to just a mere misconfiguration from those build agents, right? So a lot of serious action happens on build agents, and security or insecurity of those agents can lead to these sort of risks, right? Then if we look down here, we have done a lot of work to clear out our source code from credentials, right? So, uh, and as a follow through of that, what has happened is a lot of people have got into the habit of storing credentials in their pipelines, right? In the CI/CD pipelines. And that's also not really secure, because even a CI/CD pipeline gets checked in somewhere, right? It's probably slightly less exposed than the source code, but it is quite exposed, right? And then the bottom example here is something that can happen if there is not very good governance of what source, which tree, which branch, etc., is used to do your actual production deployment, right? So as you can see, all of these things are slightly different than the traditional notion of CI/CD security that we have heard over the years, right? So which we call DevSecOps, right? So DevSecOps has been a lot about security inside the CI/CD pipeline. So checking the source code for credentials, running Fortify or other static code analyzers, component governance, which checks for component dependencies and the security of patching level, etc., of third-party components that are being used by the pipeline, right? So those sort of things. Where whereas what we are talking about today is security of the dev infrastructure, security of the pipeline, right? So as you can see, who can modify the builds, releases, etc., right? How secure are the extensions? If we were to take an analogy, if we are in a manufacturing environment, then the traditional DevSecOps or security in the pipeline is about security of the product that is being manufactured. It's directly pertinent to that security, right? So if we are building, if the factory is making cars, then this part is about ensuring that all the wipers work correctly, the brakes would deploy correctly, etc. Right? Whereas this security of CI/CD will be more about security of the manufacturing facility or the assembly line, right? So this is in this case, right? We would be looking at ensuring that that robot that is trying to tighten the nuts on each car's wheels does not have a loose arm, because if that is the case, then every vehicle is going out with a flaw in it, right? So that's the key distinction, right? So this one directly, improves or contributes to security of what is being manufactured, whereas this one focuses on security of the manufacturing facility itself, right? So if you have a mole in your manufacturing facility, if you have a security flaw in your dev environment, then everything that you are going to build out of that is suspect. So that's why the stakes are high, right? So now let me spend a few minutes showing you some of these, the understanding the nature of challenge in the context of Azure DevOps, right? So if you're familiar with Azure DevOps UI, right? So we have a notion of organization, right? Which is what the uh, overall organization administrator or project collection administrator manages, right? So there are many important security decisions that they have to make, right? So for example, whether to permit guest users or not, what I mentioned, security of extensions that are allowed, right? Various settings in terms of Azure Active Directory, authentication levels, right? And then there are a bunch of other settings here about default agent pool behavior, inheritance of permissions, etc. Right? Almost 24 things if you start counting individually, right? Then there is within an organization, there are one or more projects, right? So for example, in this case, the organization is Microsoft IT, and one of our main projects is called One IT VSO, right? And over here as well, the project administrator has to make a few important decisions, like, what extent of sharing of artifacts is okay across projects, right? So is it fine to have a build access, repos which are in another project, or is it not, right? Then in the UI, if you look towards the top right, there is this person icon, right? Clicking on this will reveal this menu, right? So even here, as an individual, there are a few security things that you have to think of, right? So which personal access tokens have you configured? Are they configured with minimum access, etc. Right? So these are about administration of the environment at a global level and at a project level, and about you as the end user, right? So some of security concerns that apply to you, right? But once we start looking at the engineering level UI, right? So all of these menu items that we see here, right? So this is where a lot of the objects that are managed and created or updated regularly by the different engineers come into play, right? And here again, there are a bunch of security settings that engineers can tweak for each object that they are creating, right? So if someone is creating, for example, an agent pool, right? So an agent pool is basically all the machines that make up the build agents that will be used to do the building, compiling, etc. Right? So one has to think about whether these are correctly patched, whether the permissions are correct or not, whether some, so things like code signing happens on the agent pool, right? So if the if there is a slight weakness in the ACLing, right, the code signing certificate might get stolen. The private key for code signing might get stolen by someone, and then someone else can start signing code as you, right? So these are the sort of risks that individual engineers have to carefully manage. And then further to the right here, there are task groups, right? So a task group is used to identify and define a set of tasks that will run in a pipeline, right? So again, if a task group does not have a good check on who can edit, right? If a broad set of people can edit one of these task groups, and you are using that task group in your pipeline, then anything that is being built from that pipeline could have an integrity issue, because someone else is potentially editing what the pipeline does by editing the task group itself, right? So these are the issues, some examples of issues that engineers need to worry about and ensure that there are no security flaws, right? uh, Having looked at these, right, what is the scale of the problem, right? So if you look at our environment in One IT VSO, this is the approximate counts, right? So we have several thousand builds, several thousand releases, several hundred repositories, so many agent pools, and so forth, right? So all told, we are looking at about somewhere between 25 to 30,000 objects, right? And each of these objects may have maybe half a dozen security settings that have to be set up correctly by different, sometimes by the central administrators, the ones that I showed you on the previous slide, and many times by a distributed pool of engineers, right? So basically, this screams of the need for automation, right? We want to be able to help engineers with how to check for security of these settings, guide them on how to set them correctly, and we want to also have aggregate visibility to the overall security of the environment, right? So towards that, what I want to show next is a demo of our ADO scanner tool, right? So what I'll do here, so the tool is basically PowerShell based. So at its core, it's a PowerShell module, but it has various ways of using it. It can be used by an individual engineer directly from PowerShell, like I'll demo to you. but it can also be set up from a pipeline to scan the environment, and it can be set up inside Azure to scan at scale, right? So I'll talk about demonstrate this, and then I'll talk about the other two options real quick, right? So the first command installs the module on my machine. I have already done that, so I'll skip that. In PowerShell, it is all about importing script into memory. So that's what this command does. So I just ran that. And then I'm just setting up a couple of variables that will define what I want to scan. So which organization and which project. Right. So this is a dummy project where things actually fail by intent, right? So that's what I'm doing. And then this is the scan command. So, basically check my ADO security status. And here are some parameters that will help the scanner understand what exactly in my environment I am trying to check, right? So this being a demo, I am just saying like scan all types of artifacts, only one object of each type, right? But as you can see, many other variants of this command is possible. So you can fairly well slice and dice what you want to check, right? So I will just kick this off, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to use my signed in token, and it's going to query ADO for various objects that I am requesting to scan. It's going to download their configuration and check for security settings of those objects, right? And then it will report it out. So I've already run this earlier. So what I will do is quickly show you the output. So the new output is also ready right here. So essentially the output includes a summary CSV file and then more detailed files which you can examine to understand which controls failed and why, right? So here's how the CSV file looks, right? So as you can see here, there is a list. It basically includes all the controls that were scanned, whether they passed or failed, what was the resource name where the failure happened, severity. There is a one-line description of controls. This basically covers the what, right? What are we expecting, right? So do not enable access for external users in your organization, right? We also have a recommendation if when you need to fix it, exactly what you need to do is described here. And those who would like to understand exactly why that control is valuable, there is a rationale column which tries to describe the value of the security value of the control, right? So as you can see, this is just a summary file, and there are here I have highlighted some interesting controls related to the things I spoke about, right? So if you want to now look at more detail, right? So let's take this control, service connection, don't share across project, right? This is failed. I want to understand, like, why this service connection don't share across project has failed. So for that, what I need to do is I would go to this file here, right? So this is the CSV that was opened, right? So if I go to the project folder and service connection log, and I'll just search for shared, right? So there you go, right? So I found the control, and as you can see, this is failed. And our detail log will tell that, okay, here's the set of projects across which you are sharing the connection, right? So the point here is that service connection is basically a credential, right? And why would you want to share that credential across multiple projects, right? If you maybe it's a mistaken configuration, right? So now you can look at this and you can delete the service connection or the access and correct it, right? So that's the general experience of using the tool from a PowerShell setup, right? So what we also support, I'll skip through all of that. So I just showed you the PowerShell experience. What we also support is scanning from an ADO pipeline itself. So the tool is available as a ADO marketplace extension, and you can import it in a pipeline and configure it to scan the ADO environment. It's also available, it can be set up in Azure using a single command from our module. It sets up the complete scanner in an Azure subscription, and that's a scalable option for larger environments, right? And then apart from that, we provide the ability to do dashboarding. So the view you can see here is also generated more or less out of box from a combination of events that have come in to a log analytics workspace from these scanning activities, right? And lastly, engineers love to act on bugs, right? So the tool also supports directly logging ADO tasks or bugs as an outcome of scans, right? So that's what I know. These images are small, but given the short time frame, I don't have time to go into the details. But even the bug logging is done in a fairly service-aware fashion, in the sense that we determine, who owns the repo, who made the last check-in. We have the ability to detect that a bug has been fixed, an issue has been fixed, and the bug can be auto resolved based on scanning, etc. Right? So that's the solution. And the ADO scanner, basically, each of these options can be used to by engineers or mid-sized to large environments to check for security, and then these options can be used to get the aggregate visibility to compliance and to drive engineers to fix the issues, right? So to close, this is where it fits in the big picture, right? So I spoke about the difference between code security, which is on the left, and pipeline security, which is on the right, right? So these are some of the things that we do at Microsoft to focus on source code security, security of what we are building directly. And these are some of the other things that we do to ensure that our dev environments are secure, right? And ADO scanner is one of the big components of that strategy. But overall, as you can see, there is no one tool that gives you perfect security, right? Security is always a combination of multiple uh, tools which try to guard us against different entry points or different attack vectors in our environment. So, for example, this side all focuses on various flaws that can happen in code, in components that are being used, etc. Whereas this side focuses on various issues that can creep in because of misconfigurations or errors in dev environment, right? And then for all of this to succeed, you as the engineer has to play their role, right? So you have to get involved, you have to use these correctly, you have to be proactive and ensure that security flaws that these tools tell you are addressed in a rapid enough fashion, right? Agile fashion. So with that, I come to the takeaway slide. I hope I have raised awareness that dev environments and the secure configuration of those all the artifacts in those environments like pipelines, builds, releases, build agents, bunch of things like that. Those are very important because the risks are huge, right? If an attacker or a malicious insider observes those things and starts taking advantages, anything that we can be building from those pipelines or from that environment becomes immediately subject to risk, right? So the call is to be proactive and use tools. ADO scanner is just one of the tools, but use whatever tools that make sense to eliminate security risks from dev environments as well, right? The ADO scanner itself is an open source project. You can get to our documentation, and even the source code is available on Git using that link, right? And if you decide to use it, if you have any queries, you can send us questions here, right? So you can contribute ideas in terms of new controls or modifications of controls. There are some other interesting challenges and open problems that we are still grappling over, right? So I spoke about marketplace and how to improve the governance around marketplace of extensions. So that's one example. So you have some ideas around that, you can contribute to that. But all told, make sure that your dev environments are watertight in terms of security. Right, so with that, I will pause and happy to take any questions.